Glorious devotees, thank you for taking your time to view another presentation on Sri Visvanatha Cakravarti Ṭhakur's Sri Madhurya Kadambini, the Monsoon Clouds of Sweetness. Today we will continue with the section dealing with sadhana bhakti. Sri Visvanatha Cakravarti Ṭhakur here has taken Rupa Goswami's verse from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Adau Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sango Tha Bhajana Kriya, and elaborated on these various stages of devotional practice. And today we will talk about taking shelter of the Guru and the value of the association of the advanced Sadhu. Vishwanath writes, after attaining faith, one takes shelter of a guru and inquires about proper devotional behavior, sad achara. Then, in accordance with the guru's directions, one attains the fortune of associating with sadhus who are endowed with a similar mood, are affectionate, and highly realized in devotional matters. Jiva Goswami instructs in his Durgama Sangamani, the devotional scriptures have said that taking shelter of a spiritual master is the doorway into the temple of devotion. The spiritual master is the helmsman on the ferry that crosses the ocean of material suffering, and there is no other method of crossing that ocean or attaining bhakti. In the Bhagavatam, we similarly find this statement, Tasmad Gurum Papajeta Jignasu Shreya Uttama Sabde Pare Chanisnatam Brahmanyupa Samasrayam. Therefore, a person anxious to know the ultimate good in life should take shelter of a guru. The guru should be expert in explaining the Vedic scriptures and other texts like the Bhagavatam, which reveal the essence of the Vedas. He should also have transcendental realization of the personality of Godhead, meaning that he should be devoted to him. Without being expert in scriptures, the guru cannot remove the doubts of a disciple. If his faith is weak and he is not absorbed in the absolute truth, he cannot infuse the disciple with spiritual realization. It is important to note here that the basis for the Gaudiya Siddhanta is Srimad Bhagavatam, and Srimad Bhagavatam is so transcendentally powerful because of the revelation. In fact, it is referred to as a Samadhi Bhashya because it is based on the Samadhi of Srila Vyasadeva and the revelation received by Srila Sukadeva Goswami. Qualifications of the genuine guru. They should be fully versed in the Vedas and in scriptures that outline the Vedic purport, like the devotional scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam. They should be able to destroy the disciples' doubts with unshakable logic. They should have unswerving faith and be fixed in worship of the Lord, through which they have attained realizations of the Lord. They should have received the mercy potency of the Lord, which has given them direct experience of God, and should similarly be able to infuse that power within their disciples. They should not be overcome by lust, anger, and greed. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Ramananda Roy, Kiva Vipra, Kiva Nyasi, Sudrakeni Naya, E Krishna Tattva Veta, Se Guru Haya. Whether one is a Brahmana, a sannyasi, or a Sudra, regardless of what he is, he can become a spiritual master if he knows the science of Krishna. Srila Rupa Goswami is given the steps involved in accepting initiation from the bona fide spiritual master in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, taking shelter of the Guru Padarashraya, being initiated in the Krishna mantra and taking instructions from him about Bhagavat Dharma, Krishna Diksadi Shiksanam, serving the Guru with a deep sense of trust, Vishrambena Guru Seva. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has written in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, on the path of regulative devotional service, one must observe the following items. One must accept a bona fide spiritual master. One must accept initiation from him. One must serve him. One must receive instructions from the spiritual master and make inquiries in order to learn devotional service. One must follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas and follow the directions given by the spiritual master. So these items are extremely important for one who accepts the spiritual master and wants to advance in the science of Krishna consciousness to the ultimate goal of Prem Bhakti. Srila Jiva Goswami explains Diksha in his Bhakti Sandarbha. Divyam Jnanam Yato Dajyat Koryat Papasya Sanksayam Tasmad Dikseti Sa Prokta Desikaish Tattva Kovidai. Diksha is the process by which one can awaken transcendental knowledge, Divyam Jnanam, and vanquish all reactions caused by sinful activity. A person expert in the study of the revealed scriptures knows this process as Diksha. Lord Chaitanya instructed Sanatana Goswami, at the time of initiation, when a devotee surrenders to the spiritual master, Krishna makes him equal to himself. He transforms the devotee's body into spiritual substance so that the devotee can worship him with spiritualized senses. Visvanatha Cakravarti Ṭhakura himself elaborates on the concept of Vishrambena Guru Seva, or service to the Guru with a deep sense of trust, as follows. A devoted and chaste wife, while absorbed in the service of her husband, may ignore even her own children. Similarly, a disciple who is deeply absorbed in the service of the Guru may even ignore practices such as hearing and chanting, knowing that by Guru Seva alone, he can easily attain complete perfection in devotion. And just as a devoted wife ignores her own pleasures and home comforts, so too does a disciple completely absorbed in Guru Seva ignore even the divine bliss arising out of hearing and chanting. Nor does he seek out the kind of secluded place suitable for such bhajan. The Vedas also proclaim the supremacy of service to the Guru. Narottam Das Thakur sings, Sri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttamagati Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asa. Attachment to the lotus feet of the Guru is the supreme goal for a disciple who attains all kinds of perfection by his Guru's mercy. Srila Jiva Goswami writes in his Bhakti Sandarbha, even though one can readily attain all perfection by Saranagati alone, if one is desirous of relishing some special aspect of bhajan, then he should, if at all possible, take care to constantly serve both the Shiksha Guru, who teaches the sastras related to the Lord, and the Diksha Guru, who has instructed him in the Lord's mantra. Only by the Guru's mercy can one please the Lord and be freed from anarthas, which are otherwise very difficult to shake. Thus, the satisfaction of the Guru is the main cause of attaining divine love and service. Both Rupa Goswami and Kaviraj Goswami have provided the following in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. One should taste the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of pure devotees, and one should associate with the devotees who are more advanced than oneself, and who are endowed with a similar type of affection, of Aishvarya, Madhurya, Dasa, Sakya, and so forth, for the Lord. The greatest good fortune. The association of a Mahabhagavat is the sign of great fortune in one's devotional life, for simply by seeing, touching, or speaking with such an advanced soul, or by hearing Harikatha from him, the sadhaka is quickly energized in his practice, imbued with the devotional spirit and able to relish the flavors of devotion. The Guru therefore instructs his disciple to seek out and benefit from such association. Visvanatha Cakravarti Ṭhakura now proceeds to an explanation of Bhajana Kriya. This section of our presentation will deal specifically with Anista Bhajana Kriya, or unsteady devotional practice. Visvanatha writes in his Madhurya Kadambini, the next stage is Bhajana Kriya, or the practice of the different devotional items. It is of two kinds, anistita, unsteady, and nistita, steady. Anistita Bhajana Kriya gradually appears in 6 stages: Utsaha Mayi, Gana Tarala, Vyuda Vikalpa, Visaya Sangara, Niyama Aksama, and Taranga Rangini. These stages accordingly mark the devotees with their respective symptoms. But overriding all of our bhajan, or devotional practice, we should always consider the following instruction by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of the many ways of executing devotional service, 9 are considered to be the best, for they possess a great capacity to deliver love for Krishna, and thus Krishna himself. Of these 9 processes of devotional service, the best is the chanting of the Lord's holy name. For one who chants without committing offenses will quickly obtain the treasure of love for the Lord. Let's look more deeply at Anista Bhajana Kriya and the 6 forms or stages of inconsistent or unsteady devotional practice. Utsahamayi, initial enthusiasm. Ganatarala, running hot and cold. Vyuda Vikalpa, parading possibilities. Visaya Sangara, the sensual struggle. Niyamaksama, vow failure. And Taranga Rangini, whirling in the waves. These 6 conditions manifest in the heart and mind of the devotee who has not yet reached steadiness in bhajan, revealing his degree of advancement. Sri Visvanatha Cakravarti Ṭhakura will now elaborate on each of these conditions and provide examples. So the first, Utsaha Mayi, initial enthusiasm. A young student, on beginning his education, thinks, I seem to have attained a scholarship that makes me worthy of everyone's praise. This gives him a surge of enthusiasm for his studies. Similarly, a temporary enthusiasm is seen in the devotee who is just beginning their bhajan. This stage of bhajana kriya is known as utsaha mai because of its greatly enthusiastic character. Enthusiasm in prideful practice. Accustomed to speedy results based upon prior life experience, from instant pudding to instant credit, one typically thinks that they have quickly attained their spiritual ideal simply by contact with a bona fide guru, authorized shastra, and the community of devotees. False confidence, while fueling initial devotional activity, also fosters unrealistic expectations, for one does not yet comprehend the full import of cleansing the heart of millennia of accumulated mental impressions based upon fulfillment of personal materialistic desires. Initial enthusiasm, utsaha, is colored by self-centered pride, mai. At this stage, one is more attached to their service than to the one they are serving. This initial enthusiasm should not be confused with the steady enthusiasm Srila Rupa Goswami speaks of in his Upadesh Amrita, Utsahan Nischaya Daryat. The next, Gana Tarala, running hot and cold. Now Gana Tarala is being explained. The same student, when he engages attentively in studies, understanding the purports of the scripture, he feels overjoyed. But at certain times he becomes slack, being unable to understand the meaning of the scriptures and enjoy their taste. Similarly, the devotee sometimes practices different parts of devotion attentively, but at other times becomes slack, being sometimes attentive, thick and productive, and sometimes slack, thin and wavering. This stage is known as Gana Tarala. A bit more explanation here. Productive and inattentive service. The nature of the mind is flickering and unsteady, chanchala, constantly accepting and rejecting according to various considerations and circumstances. At times, scriptural purport is easily comprehended and appreciated, and at other times clear understanding does not come, and we are not able to enter into the spiritual message. Chanting of japa is at times attentive and fulfilling, and at other times the mind stubbornly does not allow concentrated effort and peaceful spiritual taste. Attending the lectures of sadhus also produces mixed experiences as our attention waxes and wanes according to the dictates of the mind. In this way, anista bhajana kriya is sometimes thick and productive, gana, and sometimes thin and wavering, tarala. Hence, this stage is called Gana Tarala. My sincere thanks for taking your valuable time to view this presentation on Sri Visvanatha Cakravarti Ṭhakura's Sri Madhurya Kadambini and the initial stages of sadhana bhakti as outlined therein. I hope this presentation nourishes your spiritual understanding and advancement. Hare Krishna.